All right, let's get right into it. We're going to unpack a single powerful idea from author Jeff Keller, an idea he says can literally change your entire life. So what is this magic bullet? Let's dive in.
So, let me ask you something. Does this feel familiar? You know that feeling of just being stuck, not really satisfied with where you're at, maybe just completely drained? It's something we all go through, for sure. And you know what? It's exactly where the author we're talking about today, Jeff Keller, found himself.
But here's the thing. What if the answer wasn't some, complicated 12-step program? What if it was just one single idea? Something powerful, something simple, and something you have total control over, like right now, this very second.
Okay, so to really get what this idea is all about, we got to start with the man himself. Jeff Keller's own story. His journey from being a lawyer to a leader is basically the living proof that this whole philosophy actually works. So picture this. It's the 1980s, and Jeff Keller, he's got it made, right? Successful lawyer, the whole 9 yards. But on the inside, he was totally miserable. And that deep down feeling that, man, something's got to give, that led him to stumble upon this incredible discovery, the sheer power of his own attitude. I mean, this one shift was so life-changing, he actually walked away from his law career just so he could spend his life sharing this idea with everyone.
So what is this big idea? Well, Keller breaks it down with a really simple, powerful metaphor. He says your attitude is basically your window to the world.
Think about it like this. Your attitude is the mental filter, the lens you see everything through. And according to Keller, it's not what happens to you that defines your reality. Nope. It's the lens you choose to see it through. It's the reason two people can go through the exact same situation and have completely different takeaways.
All right, let's stick with this window idea. A clean window, that's a positive attitude. You look out and you see opportunities, you see possibilities, solutions. But a dirty window, that's a negative attitude. All you see are the problems, the roadblocks, the limitations. And all the stuff life throws at you, criticism, getting rejected, disappointments, that's the mud that gets splattered on your window. And Keller's whole point is that it is our job to keep that window clean.
And look, if you want the ultimate proof that this isn't just some fluffy self-help talk, you have to look at the story of Viktor Frankl. This man was a prisoner in a Nazi death camp. I mean, the absolute worst of humanity. And yet, Frankl realized that his captors could take everything from him, everything except for one thing, the power to choose his own attitude. In the middle of unimaginable horror, he proved to the entire world that our internal response, how we choose to see things, is always, always our own.
Okay, so how do we actually start cleaning that window? How do we do this? Well, Keller gives us a really practical 3-part framework. Let's start with part 1, master your mind. This is all about 3 key actions you can take inside your own head, getting a handle on your thoughts, picturing your success, and then committing like you mean it.
The main idea here is something called the law of dominant thought. It's actually super simple. We become what we think about. Whatever you focus on, whatever your most dominant thoughts are, that's what you move towards. It's like you become this human magnet for your goals, pulling in the people and resources you need to make it happen.
And that leads us right into visualization. We're talking about creating these mental movies where you're the star and you're succeeding. Keller tells this awesome story about a guy named Robert who was up for a judgeship. And Keller told him, hey, start signing your name with judge in front of it. Just that tiny act started to cement this new identity in his mind. It fueled his belief so much that he campaigned with this incredible conviction. And guess what? He won. But let's talk about commitment. What is real commitment? Keller's take on this is pretty intense. It's not just about trying hard. No, it's about having the resolve to do whatever it takes. And there's a story about a guy named Jerry Gladstone that just perfectly nails this idea. Okay, just imagine this. You want a partnership with Disney. So for 3 straight years, Jerry Gladstone calls them. And for 3 years, all he hears is no. He even gets a voicemail one day from some employee basically telling him, listen, buddy, you will never get a deal with us. So what did he do? He called them even more. I mean, can you believe that? That relentless, almost insane level of commitment is what finally got him through the door. And a decade later, he's one of the biggest sellers of Disney animation art in the world. That, my friends, is what true commitment looks like.
All right, so once you've started to get your mind right, the very next step is all about what's coming out of your mouth. This is part 2. Watch your words.
You see, our words are like the bridge connecting our inner thoughts to our outer reality. Keller lays out this really clear cause and effect chain. It starts with your thoughts. Those thoughts turn into words. Those words start to build your beliefs. Your beliefs then drive your actions, and your actions create your results. It's a straight line. Your words are quite literally building the future you're going to live in.
So, let's think about a really simple question you get asked all the time. How are you? We hear it constantly, we answer it without thinking, but Keller says our answer to that one little question has this hidden power that can totally shape our entire day.
How you answer really matters. When someone asks, "How are you?" and you say, tired or lousy, you're reinforcing that feeling. You're draining your own battery. But if you answer with terrific or fantastic, you can actually generate energy. Keller tells this great story about a woman named Sally. She's dragging all day, feeling totally exhausted, until she gets a phone call telling her she just won $10 million. And bam, suddenly she's got all the energy in the world. Nothing physically changed, right? Only her mindset. It just goes to show you that a lot of our energy level is a choice we declare with our words.
But look, a positive mind and positive words, they're pretty much useless if you don't add the final, crucial piece of the puzzle. Which brings us to part 3, Heaven helps those who act.
And the keys to taking action are all about who you surround yourself with, finding your courage, and changing how you think about failure.
Keller brings up this brilliant idea here. He calls it Smokey's sponge theory. Basically, people are like sponges. We just soak up the attitudes of whoever is around us. You can try to be positive all you want, but if you're surrounded by negative, toxic people, it's just going to drag you down. It means you have to be really intentional. You have to actively choose who gets your time and energy.
Next up, you've got to face your fears. I mean, we all know that dodging something scary gives you that little bit of temporary relief, right? But what's the cost? It shrinks your world. It chips away at your self-respect. But when you do face that fear, that's when you expand your comfort zone. You build real, earned confidence. There's this incredible story of a teacher named Dottie, who in her 50s quit her secure job to chase her dream of being a performer. Yeah, it was terrifying, but she did it, and she found a level of happiness and success she never would have otherwise.
Okay, and the last key to taking action is a big one. You have to learn to embrace failure. I want you to remember this number, 33, just 33. It stands for a massive, overwhelming string of rejections. So, what's 33? That's how many publishers rejected the manuscript for a little book called Chicken Soup for the Soul. 33 no's. But the authors, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, they didn't see it as failure. They saw it as feedback. And because they refused to quit, that book sold over 140 million copies. It's the ultimate proof that failure isn't the end. It's just part of the journey.
So, you see how it all connects? Mastering your mind, watching your words, and taking action. Every single one of these hinges on one fundamental thing. Your attitude is your choice.
All right, you've seen this a million times. The classic test. Look at this glass of water. What do you see? Is it half full or is it half empty?
And the thing is, neither answer is technically wrong. The amount of water in the glass, that's a fact. But how you choose to perceive that fact, well, that's your attitude. And that choice right there is what defines your entire experience. And this final quote, man, this is the heart of everything we've been talking about. You can't custom order the situations in your life. You can't tailor-make your circumstances, but you absolutely can tailor-make your attitude to fit whatever comes your way. That is the one power that no one can ever take from you. So listen, the real question isn't if your window is going to get dirty. Of course it will. That's life. The only question that matters is, what are you going to do about it?